Welcome to your GE 6100 course, Understanding the Self. Today's topic is the self in sociological perspective. Here are the learning outcomes. Number 1, know sociology and its meaning based on various thinkers. Number 2, identify influential thinkers of sociology and their various perspectives. Let us first know the origin of sociology. The origin comes from the Latin word socius, which means companionship, and the Greek word logos, which means study. In other words, sociology is the study of companionship. There are different definitions of sociology based from the various thinkers. According to Max Weber, sociology is the study of social action. And when you say social action, it is an act that takes into account the reactions and actions of individuals. Auguste Comte said that sociology is the study of society. Okay, when you say society, it means these are the group of people involved with each other through constant or persistent social interaction. According to Robert Park and Ernest Burgess, sociology is the study of collective behavior. Okay, so what do you mean by collective behavior? These are the kinds of activities engaged in by big or small group of people. And according to Ferdinand, sociology is the study of humans living together. So it could be your family, community, or in other words, these are the group of people that share common bonds around traditions, beliefs, or objectives. EMILE DURKHEIM said that sociology is the study of social facts through social institutions. These are norms, these are values and structures of society. Therefore, we can say that sociology refers to the study of human companionship or association of humans in society. So here are the influential thinkers of sociology and their various perspectives, which we can say they are the contributors to the sociological perspective. Number 1 is Auguste Comte, who is regarded as the father of sociology. He is a splendid student in his youth, but because of his being vocal of his different perspectives and beliefs, he was still removed from École Polytechnique, a famous institution. He proposed that for society to improve, scientific thinking must be employed. Comte needed to utilize scientific perception to think about social conduct, and which he called this positivism. He said that there must be a science on learning of which we can be so certain, we can be sure or beyond any doubt. And so he likewise recognized concentration on social dependability and investigation of social change for social progress. So he is a positivist. That, for example, being a positivism would mean Christian being absolutely certain that there is a God. So that's an example of a positivism. Next is Harriet Martineau. She is one of the first thinkers who advocates feminism. It's a movement to empower women and be treated as equal to men, because she was able to see the connection of slavery and women oppression. So Harriet Martineau advocates women empowerment. Also, she was a follower of Auguste Comte, because she is known for translating many of the works and writings of Comte. And she also introduced different ideas about research methodologies, economics, and politics. Herbert Spencer is another contributor, that he made a comparison to a working society, to that of the human body, that in order to function effectively, different parts should be in tune and work together for well-being and survival. For example, if one has a headache, one might not be able to give an excellent output because of the headache. So just like this is a working society, that in order for the society to effectively function, that all parts must be in tune, and everyone must work together for well-being and survival. Also, he advocates social Darwinism, which was patterned after Charles Darwin's evolution theory. And Spencer thought that evolutionary social change would lead to progress as long as there is no human interference, which is based on the idea of survival of the fittest. And, you know, Herbert Spencer is against social reform. He said that there are poor because they deserve it, and the rich are rich because they deserve it. But it's all only according to Herbert Spencer. Now, Karl Marx looked into class struggle in society. He looked at two groups of people in the society: the working class, or the workers, or the bourgeoisie, or the rich, or the members of the middle class. And yes, the working class are called also as the proletariat. Now, pertaining to the class conflict, the different interests of these different groups leads to class conflict, that Marx stated that the working class would eventually rise up against rich and overtake the capitalists. And his proposal was to create a classless society where no one would be powerless, which is basically known as Marxism, which is a social, political, and economic theory, which was originated by, yes, Karl Marx, which focuses on the struggle between capitalists and the working class. That Karl Marx wrote that the power relationships between capitalists and workers were inherently exploitative and would inevitably create class conflicts. Emile Durkheim, a famous thinker, said that society exists due to expansive agreements. He said that individuals from society consent to specific desires. In pre-modern circumstances, agreement of qualities and convictions encompassed family convention. And this relationship is called mechanical solidarity. And according to him, the different roles played by individuals in society displays interdependence on each other. It could be for products and could be for services. There could be question as to which is more important in the society, a farmer or a doctor. But Emile Durkheim proposed and said that the individuals in society displayed interdependence on each other for products and services. And so a farmer and a doctor are equally important in the society. Also, the research styles developed by Emile Durkheim involves techniques to validate theories. Substitute assumption with scrutiny, gather and organize data, and use that data for analyzing social theory. That Durkheim presented the use of statistical methods in research, which you will be encountering when you enroll in thesis writing. Oh, what are these statistical methods in research? These are mathematical formulas. These are models and techniques that are used in statistical analysis of raw research data. The application of statistical methods extracts information from research data and provides different ways to assess the robustness of research outputs. Now, the sociological perspectives, but before that, sociologists dissect social wonders at various levels and form alternate points of view, from solid understanding to enlightening speculations of society and social conduct, meaning from the obvious to speculative. And so sociologists think about everything from particular occasions, from the minute level to the macro level scale to interpret human interactions, meaning there is no small argument or that is not valid. And there is no big argument or macro argument that's too vague to be valid. Because sociologists think about everything from particular occasions to interpret human interactions. Like some European sociologists offered an expansive conceptualization of the essentials of society and its workings. And their perspective shaped the reason for the present hypothetical points of view or standards, which led for sociologists to have a philosophical position for getting some information about society. And sociologists today utilize three essential hypothetical points of view: the emblematic interactionist viewpoint, the functionalist point of view, and the contention point of view. And these points of view offer sociologists hypothetical ideal models for clarifying how society impacts individuals and vice versa. That every point of view interestingly conceptualizes society, social powers, and human conduct. The symbolic interactionist perspective, otherwise referred to as symbolic interactionism, which use the micro level of analysis that focus on symbols or face-to-face interactions, thought that sociologists details, symbols, and daily activities should be looked into in order to understand and interpret how people react to certain things, situation, and his and her environment. That according to perspective, people react subjectively because of their own perception and interpretation to various symbols and conclude meaning to things. It could be an interpretation on oral or written communication or conversations, in which words are the symbols where the subjective conclusion is drawn. Probably one would be able to express oneself of the current situation now, the pandemic. One would be talking about the negative implication of this pandemic to their family. And we cannot invalidate of one's perception of this pandemic because there are reasons. Probably a member of the family passed away, or the head of the family cannot work because of the lockdown. But others might use words to express this pandemic as a wonderful thing that happened to them, probably because they're staying at home 24/7. So this could be a good time or a very a perfect time for the family to reunite, to spend time together and uh, make and build a better relationship as compared to pre-pandemic. So the other one is the functionalist perspective, called as the functionalism, that it talks about the macro level of analysis or focus on the relationship between the parts of society, how aspects of society are functional. And it says about that it is about every part of society as associated and adds to society's overall workings. For example, the administration or state would provide education to the children because of the taxes paid by the citizens, because taxes are paid by the citizens because they are law-abiding citizens. And so because of the education provided to the children, these children would have better chances of finding good job by getting good education. And eventually, these children would grow up to be responsible citizens who are law-abiding and tax-paying members of society. And they're contributing to keep the government running smoothly. So it's a cycle. The last one is the conflict perspective. This perspective focuses on the negative, clash, and ever-changing nature of society, that not at all like functionalists who safeguard business as usual. It keeps away from social change and trusts that individuals participate to impact social order. And so this type of perspective use the macro level of analysis that focus on the competition for scarce resources. Example is that the how the elite control the poor and the weak, that the proponents of this perspective challenge existing conditions. It empowers social change or could provoke social change, even if this might lead to social upheaval. It is in this perspective that think that the belief that and believe that rich and capable individuals force social order on the poor and the powerless. And so that's it. That's all about the topic for today, about the self using the sociological perspective.